The next person is Hamdan. Round of applause.
So I'm going to ask your indulgence. I only come here every few months, so I might go a little over 5 minutes. So if I go over 7, just tackle me. So I was actually with Abdul Rahman when we went to the Trump victory party on Tuesday night. It was a pretty depressing experience. I wrote about it, and I decided not to share it. I'm going to share something different. Because, when I was growing up, we used to have a saying. We used to say, justice is what love looks like in public. And it was a really beautiful saying, and I think today, coming here, I thought of the opposite. Love is what justice looks like in private. And what I would like to share is a short story about love, about looking for love. It's something I wrote, and then I'll also share a piece of fan fiction that one of my fans wrote. In response, this gets a lot of laughs usually. It's like, what fans? I know. Sometimes there's like one person who's like, I thought I was your only fan. I didn't write that. So it's a response that someone wrote from the other perspective, and I'll share that too. Part 1. Murakami, she lilted in a sing-song voice. Isn't he like some sort of anime dude? For the past 3 minutes, the fingers of her left hand had been playing absent-mindedly with her dark brown curls, her bored expression indicating that she would rather be anywhere but here. She was fair-skinned, Pakistani, in her mid-20s, probably someone who had grown up in a well-to-do assimilated first-generation household like mine, speaking Urdu and listening to Eminem. She worked in finance and didn't have time to read books, and she was into running. I imagined her at Starbucks, ordering a soy vanilla mocha latte. Her name, Sarah or Sophia or some other non-threatening S-word, conveniently obscuring her Muslim background. We were at the Doubletree Hotel in Arlington, Virginia, where the Association of Pakistani Physicians of North America had hastily moved their spring meeting after riots broke out in the original site of Baltimore. In the hotel's Wilson room, nearly 100 Pakistani-American yuppies, also known as puppies, so if you're my friend and I send you a puppy emoji, it's a reference to puppies. So nearly 100 Pakistani-American yuppies or puppies had gathered for the organization's Young Professionals matrimonial session. She was wearing a floral print blouse that accented the rouge on her cheeks that flushed red when I responded in mock excitement. Yes, Murakami, his anime is really big on Zanga. You must have seen it. She laughed dizzily. I knew you were also into anime, she said coyly. The bell rang and our 4-minute speed date was up. I stood up to leave and paused. Actually, Haruki Murakami is one of Japan's greatest living novelists, and he was nominated for the Nobel Prize. Her face went blank for a moment, but she recovered quickly, giggling. I knew that, totally. As I shifted chairs to my right, I turned to her next victim who had moved to take my place. A Wall Street type in a navy blue suit. She's training for a marathon, I warned him. I hope you can keep up. Floral blouse girl clicked her invisible gum and interrupted. Actually, it's a 10K, but right now I'm just trying to condition. After a few conversations like this, all of the girls began to blend into one another. Even the ones who seemed promising at first glance, cute, witty, intellectual, would only end up breaking my heart. There was Saba, a pediatrician in her early 30s, who asked me if I really wanted to become an astronaut, as I had listed on my fact sheet. She then spent 3 minutes excitedly telling me that I could apply to go to Mars. Our conversation... That was not supposed to be funny, but okay, I understand how it is. Our conversation reached an impasse when I asked about her trip to Jerusalem. I asked if she had violated BDS. I met with lots of Palestinians during my trip, she began. I repeated the question. I don't know, she finally confessed. I shook my head in disappointment, suggesting she amend her fact sheet to read, Hi, I'm Saba, and I'm a normalizer of the occupation. It didn't go well, no. There was the girl who told me she had been to the protest in Baltimore a few days earlier. When I got excited, I told her I hadn't expected her to be an activist. She hastily clarified that she attended only as a spectator. Then there was the management consultant from Lahore, who was training to be a yoga instructor because it was a great form of exercise. When I asked her if it was okay to appropriate someone's religious practice and turn it into a gym ritual, she told me she'd think about it. Clearly you guys have not been to the East Coast. That's what it's like over there. Then there were the guys. I overheard one of them whispering to the girl across from him, "I heard that the gay lobby controls Hollywood." The girl looked at him in shock. I'm not sure if it was directed at him or the fact that the gay lobby controlled Hollywood. We could use a lobby of our own, I interrupted, trying to lighten the mood. Right now, the only lobby we have is the one at the Hilton. She giggled. Then there was the startup guy from Boston, whom I overheard wooing his would-be paramours with his go-to line. Right now, I'm trying to productize since we just received an infusion of capital. At the social hour preceding the evening session, I ran into my old friend, Agha Bakhsh from New York. The news about Dave Goldberg's sudden death. He was Sheryl Sandberg's husband. He fell off a treadmill and he died about a year or two ago. Yeah, survey monkey. He's a person, not a monkey. The news about Dave Goldberg's sudden death had just come out and he was clearly stricken. How does someone just drop dead one day at the age of 47, he asked. Agha, a successful 30-something private equity analyst, seemed pensive, his lack of companionship weighing down on him. We saw a tall, willowy girl coming down the escalator and asked her to take a picture of us. Afterwards, Agha started singing to her in Urdu, his eyes pleading with her to sing along, but she was either too Americanized or too shy to follow along. She shook her head sadly and walked away. I followed soon thereafter, and Agha was alone. Thank you. So that's part one. So I wrote that. That actually happened. Part two is something someone wrote in response from the girl's perspective. And I'll share just a little of it. He rounded the chair. Okay, and this was written by Sarika Prasad from New York, who's a good friend of mine. It's incredible. You're gonna love it. He rounded the chair, not yet looking at me. I sat across from him, and my ankle hit against the chair leg as I nervously shook it back and forth. I did not wince. In this moment, I was an idol of beauty, grace, whatever he wanted me to be. I was ready to fall in love for the 17th time today. He looked up and said, "Salam." He tried to smile a little. He was clearly not the smiling type. I twirled a curl of hair away from my face. Salam, I said hurriedly under my breath. I immediately hated myself for not sounding confident enough. I'm not sure if he even heard my greeting. He had removed his phone from his pocket and was sitting with his shoulders sloping forward, his gaze focused on the screen. A face which could only be described as saturnine, displayed eyebrows arched in concentration, lips loose and hanging slightly forward as he typed out a few lines in the notes app in his phone. "Sorry, just have to write something down," he said, before quickly turning off his screen and looking back up at me. His face seemed different now. Soft or tired eyes framed by glasses, a dark beard which had been recently trimmed, but not recently enough to appear very neat. We exchanged fact sheets. Hamdan Azhar, the name looked familiar. Briefly, I imagined idly writing that name in the margins of papers, whispering it to myself as I fell asleep, blotting teary eyes to that name. That name could be the one to which I assigned so much meaning, which gave me meaning. I glanced up at him, reading my fact sheet. He idly scratched at his red plaid dress shirt, at his chest, at his shoulder. He was searching for something in my sheet. There was something he knew he wanted from me, which I was unsure that I had to give. I remember that I should be looking at his sheet too. I skimmed as quickly as I could before he had to start talking. Data scientist, read, nerd. Penn State for undergrad, Michigan for grad school. I read these over as if they said something meaningful about him. Sure, I probably preferred a man with graduate education, but what does that fact alone really say? I would have liked to replace some of these questions. Under name, I would have added least favorite nickname. Instead of schools attended, average number of classes skipped per semester. Interesting stories as to why. Instead of age, do you really think you're emotionally ready to get married right now? I wondered how Hamdan would have answered these. We started to speak. I couldn't tell you how we began the conversation. There was a look on his face that I couldn't figure out. He was talking so much, but he really didn't seem interested in me. It was strange. Men do not look at me like that. I didn't feel romanced or charmed, nor did I sense reservation from him. It felt almost as if I was being interviewed or analyzed. His search for that spark in me, the thing that would tell him, yes, there might be something in this woman that I am looking for, seemed aggressive, but also not. He had a gentle voice. with a tone which was somewhere between mocking and actual curiosity, as if perpetually in the middle of his own inside joke. "Do you read?" he asked. "I used to love reading. The last man I loved was a poet, and he would email me poems a few times a week that reminded me of him. They were about cold nights, thunderstorms, music. I haven't read much since then." "Not really, I don't have time," I lied. His features fell very slightly. I had failed his test. "I'm really into running now." He didn't seem to be into working out. That's my favorite line. And I wasn't sure if I was trying to impress him by telling him this. "I'm training for a 10K. He wasn't looking at me now, or yes, he was. I was absent-mindedly twirling a piece of my hair in my fingers. He had noticed. I wondered if he thought I was beautiful. "Oh, cool." He clearly didn't think it was cool. "So, you're into reading, like who or what?" I asked. "My favorite author is Murakami," he said. Murakami. The name felt familiar, but I wasn't sure where I had heard it. It sounded Japanese. Oh God, he was one of those weird anime types. We had 30 seconds left. I quickly glanced to his left at the next man I'd meet, an attractive man in a navy tailored suit. Hamdan was sitting back now, excitedly telling me about the anime artist. I blushed, as there was something very sweet about the way he became excited. But there was also a wall there. Hamdan was there in front of me, but not really. Perhaps not a wall, but a door kept him from me. I was not the woman with the password to get me through that door. I was fine with that. I wondered if that woman was here today. As it was time to change seats, he got up, and with a flattened voice, he said, "Haruki Murakami is one of Japan's greatest living novelists, and he was nominated for the Nobel Prize." Yes, I understood that for today, I was one of the stupid girls Hamdan had met. I giggled and said something he would have expected me to say, and wondered how it might have been if this man, Hamdan Azhar, could have been the one to introduce me to Murakami. Maybe in another life, he would have been the one to leaf through the pages of a book with me and look up to my face with a smile that said, "Yes, this is something I would like to share with you." But the navy-suited man was already sitting in front of me, and it was time to begin again.